Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Yeah, baby. Happy Thursday. So here we are, week away from Turkey Day. People are looking around, and they're saying, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do this year. I have no idea. And it's not because of the coronavirus, even though we're seeing movement in the virus and not movement in a good way. And the reason? It's gas prices. Period. It's gas prices. More people traveled or planned to travel and did travel last year when it comes to driving and moving around. So this is one of those holidays, Memorial Day and Thanksgiving, people going places. And last year we were in the grip of the pandemic, right? They were expecting a winter surge. It's the grip of pandemic, but people are like, we're going to go, we're going to chance it, we're going to go do this. I've been stuck inside. I need to go see my family. All of those things. This year, not so much. Nope. This year we're like, nah, I don't think so. I was thinking I could, but this year I'm looking and nah, I don't feel like it. That's a hell of a drive. It's a lot. That's a lot of stuff there. That kind of drive, that kind of price. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. Sorry. That's the reality. Last year, in the midst of the pandemic, and we were still learning, we had no vaccine to speak of. People were willing to risk it. Now, at this moment in time, where we've got vaccines, treatments are available, not readily the way we would like to see it, like a Tamiflu or something like that, but it's out there. And sooner rather than later, it's going to be widespread. But this year, the thing stopping us is the pump. Travel's going to be a little bit tough. Flying, I wouldn't want to fly somewhere at this weekend if I had to be somewhere at a specific time. I wouldn't. A couple friends of mine who work in sports, they're not going this weekend or next week to see their families, and they get back to work sideline games on Sunday because they say, I can't trust that I'm going to have the opportunity to get on a flight and get back when I need to. But gas prices, and Biden is feeling it in a lot of ways. He understands that. He's calling for, go investigate. Please examine what's happening.
Biden writing in a letter to the FTC, quote, in the last month, the price of unfinished gasoline is down more than 5%, while gas prices at the pump are up 3% in the same time.
Right now, it's really difficult.
Biden noting that Exxon and Chevron were on track to nearly double their net income compared to 2019 and saying, quote, I do not accept hardworking Americans paying more for gas because of anti-competitive or otherwise potentially illegal conduct.
Well, what's the illegal conduct? So we explained this to you yesterday. I'm going to give it down. I'm going to keep it simple, stupid, right? Chad-splaining. Here's the Chad-splain. The releasing of the spigot in Saudi Arabia with OPEC, right? Open it up, out it goes. The releasing of the spigot will send a message to investors as well as opening up the marketplace and flooding it, if you will, with oil, for lack of a better term. Will also send a message to the market that, hey, this is happening now. There will be more oil available. More oil means the supply will be met. With the supply being met, instead of not being met, means the prices will come down. Institutional investors, it's hard to come after institutional investors when you have the product and you're hedging yourself. These companies are printing money. There's no doubt about it. It's one phone call. This isn't the average speculator. This isn't Steve down the street who's trading some commodities in an account during the day, and he's got 25 grand and he's trading a few here and a few there. That doesn't move the market. This is bigger and different. So it's a phone call, and then you watch what happens. He's still in making that phone call. So when you're sitting there and you're thinking this year, is it because people are afraid of COVID. It's not because people are afraid of COVID. Oh, you have some people out there that are insane. Case in point, this lady who wants to explain to you what to do with people who are unvaccinated.
Are you going to invite your unvaccinated relatives to sit at the dinner table with you this Thanksgiving? Experts are saying you might not want to risk it. Here's why. According to one expert from McMaster University, vaccines are super effective, but they're most effective when you're surrounded by other vaccinated people.
No way.
If you invite someone who isn't vaccinated, there's a risk of having a breakthrough case. Now, breakthrough cases are pretty rare.
Oh, my God. Are they? No, not really. Not as rare as a lot of people think. And the other thing is, too, you got a vaccine 8 months ago, and it's waning now. Is that really the kind of breakthrough case? That when I look at a breakthrough case, if you got a vaccine a month ago and you have a breakthrough case now, well, that's a bit odd. 8 months ago, it's waning, probably more likely. But don't invite people, because if we all get together and we're all together and everybody's in the same room and we're all like-minded and vaccinated and we all wear a mask and none of us look at each other, the chances of us getting sick is virtually nil. I mean, I know that, we can spread it just like other people, maybe not as easy, but still. Now, she's not finished. And again, there are some people that are like this. The fear of Delta and the coronavirus. But people aren't traveling this year because gas prices, not because of you're crazy at Karen.
You should try talking to your relatives about how safe vaccination is. The best way to do that is to start the conversation from a place of respect and empathy. Say things like, I understand you're feeling pressure. I know you're freaked out, but here's why this is important. But kids can't get vaccinated yet. So part of keeping those kids as safe as possible is telling that one uncle who chooses not to get vaccinated that he might have to sit this one out. That's actually the more ethical thing to do.
That's like the more better thing to do. Hey, uncle, we know who you're talking about. Now, we talked a bit about this the other day with the people that are in the I don't want people over to my house if they're unvaccinated. But it all changes with one little thing, right? So it all changes with one little thing. Well, Uncle Tom is not vaccinated. Yeah. Grandpa Ron's not vaccinated. Yeah. They're worth $10 million and they like us. So I'm going to say it's okay. They get us great Christmas presents. And So we're just going to go with that. Right? Like, if crazy Uncle Tom lives in a trailer, doesn't have, a pot to piss in, you're probably going to be like, I don't want him over. But if every year they're like, hey, last year he got each kid Xboxes and your husband an Xbox, and, right, he paid for your daughter's school, you'd be like, he's coming over. We're okay with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. But people aren't traveling this year because of gas prices. Every time I drive by a gas station, I look up and I say to self, it doesn't say $3.89. It says vote Republican. Vote Republican. Yeah. I could see that. Are you sure? No, it's what it says. So last Sunday I said I paid $3.29 for gas. It was $3.60 yesterday or Monday morning when I got gas. I drove by there today because I stopped in and I got one of those not energy drinks, but like a protein shake. And it was $3.65. Overnight, it had jumped 5 cents. Vote Republican is what it's going to say. You go and you're like, hey, is that your receipt? No, that is an ad for Republicans. Now, some point in time, I'm sure the Republicans will figure out a way to jack the pooch and snatch victory from the snatch defeat from the jaws of victory at some point in time. But at this point in time, right now, you better start figuring something out, Because if you don't, it's going to get ugly. People don't want to be going into Christmas time going, well, we're not going anywhere this time either. I don't want to go somewhere where I got to wear a mask 24/7. I'm not going to go somewhere where it's going to cost me $10 a gallon. That's not going to happen. My fear, so this weekend I'm driving out to see Jack. So my son lives in San Diego. I live out in the middle of what I call the Valley of the Dirt People. So it's a small little, I would say it's kind of like a village. It's a small little area that I love, but it's a bit of a ways. We take the back way. So it's my daughter, my stepdaughter, and I are going out to pick up Jack this weekend. So we take the back way. The back way, we drive. So we're going to go through Yuma. So I'm like, all right, I got to fill up there, and then I'll top off in El Centro. Cross that line. But then there's really only one or two gas stations from there to San Diego. And one of them, you think to yourself, that's going to cost me $8. I just know it. $7-8 a gallon. That's scary. That's scary. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's costing me more for gas than my room and food for the weekend. Makes me not want to travel out and see people. Hence the reason why I stay indoors. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. One thing I will not worry about is something happening to my car. I've got Car Shield. If something was to happen, I've got coast to coast, right? Coast to coast, anywhere you travel, 24/7 roadside assistance. I have a rental car, should I need it. Trip reimbursement, everything at no additional charge. Plans are very affordable in a day and age when people are worried about making their cars run longer because they don't want to step into a payment right now because of the expense of cars. Guess what? CarShield has your back. With Cover Repairs, their administrators make everything so easy. You don't have to worry about the hassles, the headaches. They take care of the paperwork and the expensive payment. You pay a small deductible. Again, coast-to-coast roadside assistance, sign me up. Whether your car's got 5,000 to 150,000 miles, CarShield has coverage for you and options that fit your budget. They've helped over 1 million drivers. That's why they are America's #1 auto protection company. CarShield. Absolutely a win-win. They've helped me, especially when I had my issue with one of my cars had electronic issue. They took care of everything. I paid a small deductible. Away I went. Protect yourself from paying thousands. Get coverage today with CarShield. Find out what CarShield cars go farther. Go to carshield.com/Benson. Save 10%. carshield.com/Benson. Save yourself 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
Jobs, 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 jobs. As goes the economy, so goes at times our happiness. Hate to say that, but again, money doesn't buy you happiness. It makes you more of who you are. But the other thing it does is it takes stress away. Right? Doesn't make you happier. Makes you less stressed. And the same thing goes for people who are employing people, right? When you have enough workers, you find out life is good. When you don't, makes it stressful, as we're finding out.
The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits continued a steady drift toward pre-pandemic levels. 268,000 jobless claims reflects a strong demand for workers as more leave their current jobs for higher-paying positions. There are still more than 2 million Americans receiving an unemployment check, but that number is also down.
Yeah. And again, just because you're not on unemployment doesn't mean you're unemployed. And we're going to delve deeper into the world of jobs and where are people, what are they doing, are they coming back? Yes, no, maybe, but we're also missing a group of people out there. There's a couple groups of people out there that we're not counting on, and when economists scratch their heads, they're not understanding some of what's happening because they're delving into the same old same. There's a box that they can think out of. If they did it, I think they would understand where some people are going. Some people are like, I don't have to work. And it's not because they're old and retired or they're saying, you know what, I'm done and I've saved up enough money. And it's not because of any of that. There are several reasons to it, and some of which is the gig economy. And we're going to get deeper into that. Yesterday, Paul Gosar, who, for those of you guys who don't know, he's a congressperson. He's from Arizona. He's the one who shared the anime, I think it's from Titan AE or whatever it was, of him, with a samurai sword and AOC's face on it, like slashing through. And, there's like, to cut the head off. It's the robots in the show, when you hit them, basically to kill them, you have to let steam out. He was censured yesterday. First, he went on to talk about immigration, because that's a lot of them did, right? Like that's the thing that he did. He started talking about immigration. I was like, did people cross the border and they force him to put up a cartoon? Then,
for this cartoon, some in Congress suggest I should be punished. I have said decisively, there is no threat in the cartoon other than the threat to the immigration poses to our country.
That's what that was about. That's what that was about. I will say, I listened to AOC, and I got to be honest, I think some of what she said was real.
What I believe is unprecedented is for a member of House leadership to be unable to condemn incitement of violence against a member of this body. It is sad. It is a sad day in which a member who leads a political party in the United States cannot bring themselves to say that issuing a depiction of murdering a member of Congress is wrong. What is so hard? What is so hard?
They're terrified of social media, terrified of people coming after them, terrified of being attacked on social media. That's what's so hard. But I think she's right. We've civility has always been, we're not as civil, civility wise here as we think we are comparatively to the, back in the day, it wasn't that bad. No, it was. But this, to me, I thought was asinine, and he got censured for it. But I think she's right. What's so hard to say? You know what? Shouldn't have done that. Sorry about that. We don't do that. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Jobs. Finding people to work has gotten so much tougher, right? It's no longer an employer marketplace. It's employee marketplace. What's that mean? Well, like, let's say we're selling a house right now. Who's got the upper hand in selling a house? I was talking to my mom, or my aunt called 2 days ago. It's a perfect example of, first of all, insanity in California prices. But secondly, even with that, because the supply is not there, that you're going to get if you're a seller way more money right now, because the competitiveness to try to get a place is big. So she calls, and a neighbor down the street passed away, and her husband sold the house, and it's a house. Cypress is okay. It's, it's a few miles from the beach, nothing spectacular. I mean, within 15 minutes you're at the beach, and well, it's California, so maybe within 4 hours you're at the beach. But it's right in the middle of everything. You're close to Long Beach. You got all the freeways around. It's an okay. It's Orange County. They got almost $1 million for a house that in most places you wouldn't get $200,000 for. Partially because of the area, the other part because of the supply. Isn't enough. Right now, there are jobs available, plenty of them, and employers realize they're going to have to figure something out. And not all of it is because we're lazy and we got a bunch of money sitting around. That played into a few different things, I'm sure. But it's also because people are looking around going, well, I don't know if I really want to do that anymore. I don't know if I need to.
10.4 million open jobs. I think it's coming down to the ever-evolving definition of what a good job is, the expectations that most people have when it comes to determining what they want to do with the useful part of their life, money, incentives, disincentives, uncertainty. It's all swirling around. And look, it's really tempting to get on the back porch and scream at the kids to get off the lawn vis-a-vis laziness and all of the other work ethic things that I do love to talk about. But we can't blame people for acting in their own interests.
No. It's Mike Rowe right there talking about it. Not everybody is lazy. My brothers and sisters bust their ass. They do. They work a lot of hours. My little brother works for the Ducks. He coaches privately hockey as well as coaching some of their mite teams, and he works for the actual Anaheim Ducks. And a few nights a week, his friend has a street clean business where they go and do parking lots where they have the little mini street, and he'll go out at like midnight and work till late in the morning. He works hard. A bunch of his friends do the same thing. They're those millennials. They're those 20 to 25-year-old kind of, last part of the millennial group. They work hard. But some of them are at a point where it's like, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm not stuck doing that gig. Plus, a lot of younger people and older people now are gigging it. They're working, doing several things that are a little different, right? They're like, yeah, you know what? I can piecemeal together enough to cover my rent and make about the same as I did a 9-to-5 job that I was unhappy with. So why would I want to go back and do that? That doesn't show up anywhere as being employed because you're kind of an independent contractor. You sell a few things on eBay. You do a few other things here and there. All of a sudden, you're making enough money and you've made up your income. Why would you want to have a regular job? You're doing it on your time and you feel like, hey. Now, for employers, you got to fill those gigs.
Fundamentally, though, you can't argue with the numbers. 10.4 million open jobs. That has to mean, among other things, that opportunity is not dead if we can simply get around to making a more persuasive case for the opportunities we have.
And that's not just money. If we've learned anything over the last several months, people want other things. They want to be able to hybrid and work from home. For some people, that's really important. And right now, with gas prices the way they are, if you have the opportunity, it is a good thing to do to give people the opportunity to work out of the house to save them some money. It's like giving them a mini raise. Some people want the opportunity to, hey, I want to work 4 10-hour shifts, and then I want 3 days off. See, when you are an employee or you're searching for a gig and the sky's the limit as far as, hey, I know I'm the only one that showed up at this cattle call that would normally be a cattle call, and I'm going to fill out this application, and they'll probably hire me on the spot. The reality is I don't have to do that now. What are you going to do for me? There's nothing wrong. You strike while the iron's hot, because at some point in time, it will shift. Businesses that want to survive will learn to adapt. Businesses that learn to adapt will get to a point where they go, you know what? People are going to want to work here, and the supply-demand side will be on my. I'll be short on supply of jobs. The demand will be high. I'll be able to get a little bit more. That's why I keep saying, if you're not a hustler and you're not putting things together and you need a gig, today's the day, tomorrow's the day, you go in, you find something because you can get things that others can't. And so when it does flip, you're in a better position. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Speaking of better positions, holidays, normally what happens during the holidays? People are out there doing what? Shopping. But they're also getting in positions to hire a ton of workers. And, it's not happening the way that people thought. And the shopping thing, well, nobody really knows what's going to look like next week. People have been doing Black Friday for the last several weeks, and they've been doing it online, and they're releasing the next day or two, because come Black Friday next week, which would normally be the massive savings, nobody really knows what's going to be available. So they're going to start worrying, oh my God, is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? How much more expensive? There's still deals out there.
U.S. consumers expected to spend nearly $1,000 a person. That's an all-time high over the holidays after a year and a half of staying in, foregoing travel and dining out. Americans have saved up an estimated $2 trillion, and despite rising prices, they continue to spend on everything from clothes to electronics to hardware, which has led to record sales at major retailers.
Yeah. We're still spending. We're just getting a little trickier. We've got tons of money saved up. Now, the $1,000 last year would probably go a longer way. Instead of getting 3 things for your nephew or your mom or your husband or wife, you may only get him 2 because of the prices, and maybe one of the things that you wanted to get her or him or them, they weren't available. But we're ready to shop. There's no doubt about that. We're ready to travel. We're ready to get back out there, but we're doing it in a weird way. It wasn't like the gates opened up. It was kind of like we were just, kind of funneled slowly through. Some places, they're not, I was talking to my uncle yesterday. I called him. I said, what are you up to? He goes, oh, it was my Aunt Karma's birthday. Hi, Aunt Karma, happy birthday. And so they went up to L.A., and which he didn't really want to do, but they went to a museum. She wanted to do that and stuff, but he had to show his ID and his passport on his phone for the vaccine. They gave him 2 wristbands. That's when he asked, is the Star of David supposed to go around my shoulder? My arm. And, but it's weird. He goes, if it wasn't her birthday, we'd never done this. I'm like, he goes, because I'm not doing this everywhere. I'm not going to go play. I'm not looking. I don't know what it's going to look like this weekend when I go there, because I'm out here in Arizona, and quite frankly, outside of my work, nobody makes you wear a mask anywhere. It's like, oh wait, yeah. Now this is good. It's going to be like this weekend. Oh God, hold on. Let me get a mask. That turns me off to going to any store at this moment in time. That's how frustrated I think people are going to be. But we're going to spend money though, man. I'm ready, right? I'm ready. What will I buy me? See, kids think Black Friday and everybody thinks it's about shopping for others. No, Black Friday's about me. And I don't start my Christmas shopping until the 20th at 11:59. Because my birthday's on the 20th, and I don't want to shop for other people till my birthday's over. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. And the economy, stupid. The economy's stupid. That's what it is. And you can look all day and say, well, we got a ton of money and all this stuff saved up. Yes, that some of that is very much true. But the other side of it is people aren't super confident. And when I look at where we're headed, and some of that, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to piss some people off, some of that is politics-based. If you go back and look when Trump was president, okay? So just like yesterday with the vote on Gosar, who was the ding-dong that did the AOC, anime cartoon thing where he, they photoshopped it and he shared it, however. Some of that, like yesterday was all party line minus Kinzinger and Liz Cheney. Everything else is party line, because that's kind of where we are. If you look at the poll numbers of Biden, in some places, Democrats feel okay about the economy. Where when Trump was in president, right, and he was holding court, if you will, it was the exact opposite. They didn't feel good about it. And the Republicans did. And it has nothing to do with based in reality. It all has to based in we don't want to give anybody a win. Nobody wants to give anybody a win, which is the dumbest thing. That is the dumbest thing. I don't get it. I thought a win is a win, but apparently it's not the same. It's not. If the other guy does good, somehow that makes you bad, is how we are when it comes to politics. Doesn't matter if a bunch of people benefit, and you may be even one of them. You feel like you've lost. I don't get it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from you. Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Free bag for you, right? All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. It has helped my dogs tremendously. I give out the Rough Greens. I go tell everybody I know, hey, just go to Rough Greens. I give it the exact place you need to go. Just try it for your dogs. You will not be disappointed. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, all this incredible stuff. It has helped my dogs tremendously. It has given them a lease on life that is great for my younger pups, but it has given my old dog a new lease on life. He's healthier, he's happier, he's bouncier, and the energy is incredible, and his hips don't hurt anymore, and it's all because of Rough Greens. Try it before you buy it. ruffgreens.com/Chad. Ruffgreens.com/Chad. Or call 833-MyDog77. You cover the cost of shipping. You get a bag for free. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
We got football tonight. That's right, Thursday night game. You've got the exciting Patriots. Not going to lie to you. Not bad. Not bad at all. Taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Love to give my picks, as I do. Patriots been really surprising, I think, this year with the way that they have played. They've got Mac Jones, who's super smart. He's their rookie quarterback. They wanted him. They got him. And they're building a team. They've got a Super Bowl-worthy defense. And I think they've got the opportunity here to go out there and to play some football and win a game. They take on the Atlanta Falcons, which you never know who you get each and every week with Atlanta. They could score 40, or they might get shut out. Patriots are good away from home. They beat the Chargers. They beat the Panthers away from home. It's going to be a good game. Tonight, I take the Patriots, go 7-4, and then what are we, 2 weeks away? So the next 2 weeks after this, they've got the Titans and they've got the Bills. All of a sudden, Belichick's looking around going, oh, yeah, look at us. Look at us go. Look at us go. So it's going to be fun. That's my go-to tonight. Go with the Patriots in hot Atlanta. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Love hearing from you. Movies coming out. There's a couple movies I'm excited to see. So today a movie comes out on Hulu that looks very interesting. And I don't know if you guys remember Von Dutch. Von Dutch was, it was a clothing line, right? This guy buys the name and some, like, the artwork and stuff of this. It was a trip. Started out with like hats, right? And it was an apparel. It was named after Kenny Howard, a.k.a. they call him Von Dutch. He was a pinstriper, custom culture movement. Okay? He died in 92. His daughter sold the name Von Dutch to these other guys. And then it went crazy. And it got huge. Everybody was wearing it, right? Paris Hilton, Whitney Houston, Madonna, Britney Spears. Everybody had Von Dutch. And it was a trip. Then Christian Auger, who was the designer for a lot of the stuff, he left. And then it kind of went weird. And then there was like a murder. There was a bunch of weird stuff that ended up happening. That is a documentary coming out today. It's going to be on Hulu. It's called The Curse of Von Dutch, A Brand to Die For. And again, the stuff was really cool. And they made the trucker hat really popular, right? And you're like, oh yeah, I remember the trucker hat. Then another documentary comes out today about this little singer here.
People would say, wow, you're so brave, you're so empowered.
Alanis Morissette participated in the making of Jagged, sat for hours of interviews, and offered her archive to filmmaker Alison Klayman.
I can't write all these songs without obviously having been disempowered.
So when Morissette put out a statement saying Jagged was salacious and not what she signed up for,
I definitely was surprised by her statement.
Klayman tells me Morissette never said specifically what she objected to. Speculation is that it had to do with things she said about being sexually assaulted as a teen. The doc is about the making of her breakthrough album, Jagged Little Pill.
I felt like this is a film that, was made so collaboratively and, with such a spirit of celebration and respect.
Have you talked to her about, the issues that she brought up, and where does that stand?
Not since that statement, no.
Comes out today. It'll be interesting to see. I've seen some of it, and she exploded on the scene. But from there, she kind of disappeared. She's been all over the place, and now it's like this is not the first person to say, I signed up for this, and this is what I got, not what I signed up for. It'll be interesting to see. 323-538-2423. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Usually when you're in power, and by that I mean you've got everything, right? You got the House, you got the Senate, you got the presidency. You can expect in midterms, unless things are going in such a way that you don't want to upset the apple cart. You just can't do it, right? Like, no, don't do anything. Whatever you're doing, right? It's like that TV when you were a kid and you had the rabbit. Do it. Nope. There. Look there. No. Hold. Don't move. Unless that, we have a tendency to change. Another Democrat announced, G.K. Butterfield, stepping down after holding a seat since 2004. He's the 7th House Democrat from battleground districts to say, I'm done. In total, I think there are 16. Now, the other 9 safe areas, right? Jackie Spear, she's California. Again, whoever runs in that seat wins it pretty handily. But when you hold a narrow lead like 6, and you see 7 who are stepping away, and we're still a year away, essentially, from that, and you've got inflation, you've got supply chain issues, you've got immigration that's a debacle, COVID is still being COVID, and you've got mandates and lawsuits, and then of course you've got what's been happening in the schools, and we saw what kind of issue that is in this woke culture. Bill Maher was on with Fredo Cuomo talking about wokeness, inclusion, things of that nature, and he's so spot on. I think we talk about the culture war is the civil war that's being fought, not the one where we all pick up guns. Enough of that crap.
Woke. The response from the people that you put it on will say, woke is aware and inclusive, and there is no cancel culture. It's just accountability. These are not bad things. They are good things. Disagree.
Woke, yes. I mean, I don't remember the day the term was born, although I hear AOC says only old people use it now. Well, you gave it to us like 5 years ago. So sorry we didn't get the memo. That's such a high school thing. We're not using that anymore. Okay, whatever term you want. I don't care. Again, I just got used to this one.
Yeah. And woke is out there. We do woke Wednesdays. People don't say that anymore. Again, it doesn't matter. You put it out there, you can't walk that one back. You want people to walk it back, right? You don't want that to, no, it's not that anymore. It's just socially aware. Whatever you want to call it, it's there. It is. It's right in front of us. And where is it? In front of us. It's not other places. It's here. In front of us, dealing with it on a day-to-day basis.
There's a reason why the term woke has come to signify going too far and doing things that don't make sense. I keep saying this to the Democratic Party. The reason why you are so toxic is because you have become the party of no common sense.
Boom. No common sense. No common sense. Because you're more worried about things that most people don't care about, but you make it such that if you don't care about it, you're awful. If you don't do the things that we ask you to do, we want to change the words. We want you to bend to all the things that you better bend to, or else. We want to change things in such a way because we're building this bizarre little world of cult, and we're going to build everything around it. Right? Case in point, listen to this, right? And this is part of that wokeness.
But I'm so glad you asked. Nibbling is just a gender-neutral term for niece or nephew. So if your sibling's child is gender non-conforming or non-binary, nibbling's a great term for them. If you are referring to multiple nieces and nephews, nibblings is a way easier way to say that. I default to it now because it's just simpler.
Yeah. Taking small bites is what nibbling is, right? Showing cautious interest in a project or proposal. When you go fishing, they're nibbling. How is it? They're nibbling. Nothing big. Having to get big bites. No, now it's this. That's so that person's not voting for a Republican. And why it matters is because it's things I deal with on a daily basis. Right? Like the CRT crap. Oh, it's not real. Call it what you want. The name is whatever. It was the semantics at this point. And some of the stuff that goes on. My son's best friend, used to be best friend, is black. And all of a sudden, at school, they're separated. They're being told things. The kids are confused. Now it feels like there's this tension that was never there before anymore. And it's upset him, as it would, because nobody really gets it or understands why. Because you're trying to prove what, a point? Hey, if you listen to this music, you're cultural appropriation. By the way, you over here are also an oppressor, and you're the oppressed, and you will never be anything more than oppressor, and you will never be anything more than a victim. That doesn't help at all. This insanity is out there, and where is it? It's here. Everything else, right, that's out there in the world of wackiness isn't in your living room. And this is what parents are voters, as I remind everybody, but also these are the things that are going on right now that frustrate a lot of people. On top of the inflation, on top of all of this other stuff. I saw today, Oregon has closed a middle school. Why? They have to implement new safety protocols. It is not because of COVID. It's because the children now lack socialization skills. Well, for what? Another day or two? No, for the next 3 weeks they're closed. And then they will bring the children back. The kids have been fighting. The kids. What? Yeah. That's the insanity of which you work. And that right there, those are parents. Those are people who vote, who are now having to see their kids come home because the kids don't have the socialization. Do they not have the socializations? Or are there things going on in school that people aren't understanding and wokeness is landing there? Socialization. We got to send the kids back home. They don't even know how to talk to each other. Not because of COVID again, because they lack the skills. These issues matter to parents. Parents are voters, but it matters to all of us. I say it every day. I keep telling my on-air partner over the last year, he just used to laugh when I talk about stuff like this. I said, you don't understand. The stuff that starts out like this, where everybody goes, that's ridiculous, ends up in a place where we're taking down statues of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, and that you spend 4 hours a week doing online video courses of how to be more inclusive when all you want to do is your job, that has an everyday effect.
People mostly go on with their lives. They do, but they see things on their phone or on their Facebook page, and it's a constant drip, drip, drip of, oh, these people are nuts in a very different way that's closer to home to you. It's that guy in the parking lot. I can't let people like that take over the country. People who regard children as just shorter adults who should have an equal say. If my kid comes home from school and tells me, they're telling me I'm a racist. What does that word mean, Mommy? It comes home and says, I think I'm a girl.
Yeah. That's what Jack was feeling the other day. He's like, I'm not quite sure what happened. Now, people that went to kindergarten together won't talk to each other, and that they're moving off into little sects and groups where, okay, this sect over here is this, and it's become, hey, we're becoming more enlightened. No, what you're doing is you're driving a stake into situations right through the heart of friendship, because rather than it be organic and natural, which it was, you want to prove some sort of point because somehow you're going to feel high and mighty about it. And where does that land? That lands at the feet of parents, and then eventually that becomes mainstream, slowly but surely. It's the frog in the water. Throw it in when it's hot, jumps out. Throw it in when it's cold, slowly turn up the heat. People acclimatize to it, and before you know it, it's too late.
8 months from today, do you think things are better or worse?
Well, they're not going better for Biden and the Democrats, and I think that's getting 8 months is going to be close to the midterm election. I think they're going to get thumped in the election. I mean, that usually happens in midterm elections, but, you know, I mean, Joe, look, he has not exactly stuck the landing on a lot of the issues that he was dealing with.
No. At the rate it's going to be much worse. And think about this for just a second. What do you think is going to happen when Joe wants to get a bill through? It isn't going to happen. Gridlock's going to happen. Republicans will do something. He'll veto it. It'll go back and forth. But don't think the investigations aren't coming when it comes to every single thing they can properly try to investigate and push forward. Common sense has lost its way. All that matters now is winning for your team. And it's frustrating because the rest of us, we're dealing with stuff like this made by decisions of people that we continue to put in power that we should know better. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Raycon, best earbuds around, 45-day happiness guarantee. I love my Raycons. No supply chain issues here. Absolutely the best earbuds. I wear them all the time when I'm working out, playing golf, whatever it is that I'm doing that's active, which I try to be as active as possible. Get like 10, 15,000 steps in, always doing something. I love my Raycons because of what they provide. First of all, 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life, an amazing charging case. I just charge it up right there. It gets me up to 4 full charges. But pure mode, balanced mode, bass mode. With the new sound modes they have available, you can absolutely make sure everything you listen to sounds incredible with the right amount of bass, noise isolating fit, which to me is the thing that separates it. Ray J's made the best earbuds around. And right now, up to 20% off, which is perfect for your holiday shopping season. 20% off, up to 20% off the everyday earbuds. Get these 45-day happiness guarantees. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let us take a peek, find out what's trending. Yesterday, in fact, last 24 hours, Young Dolph, rapper, was killed. Crazy. 10 million people searching. He was inside a cookie bakery when he was shot and killed. Trying to figure out exactly what happened. Apparently he was trying to do good for his community. And again, another senseless murder. It's one of those ones where people talks about him as an up-and-comer. He had some hits, but, 10 million people searched. What happened? How did this happen? Rittenhouse verdict, also trending. Jury's been asking to see certain things, asking certain questions, and obviously the mistrial situation that they put out there with the fact that the prosecution gave them a smaller file that really wasn't as good as the file that they have when it came to certain drone things, which, they say could exonerate him. And it would be one of those evidentiary things where when introduced, some people say, this right here could have potentially got to a situation by seeing this where there may not have even been a trial. So doubt there'll be a mistrial. Censure. People want to know what a censure is. Paul Gosar was censured yesterday for a cartoon depicting him going after a robot-like AOC with her face photoshopped onto a Titan robot from the anime cartoon Titan AE, and he was censured and then immediately went and retweeted it because that's what you do. Head on over to Twitter. I swear, some people are so stupid. I'm talking about you, Paul Gosar. It's not very nice, Chad. It's not nice at all. Ahmaud Arbery case continues. One of the defendants who shot him was on the stand yesterday, saying if he didn't shoot him and take the gun, that he felt he was going to be killed. McMuffin, if you guys want a McMuffin, they're celebrating the McMuffin today. I think they're going back to their original price of it was like 63 cents or something. So you'll have a chance. It turns 50. Oh my God. It turns 50. And oddly enough, it's the same McMuffin from 50 years ago. They've made it. They've been sitting out there just waiting for you. So very nice, Chad. Actually, I'm lying. I had McDonald's yesterday. It was delicious. Their fries are still amazing. Just letting you guys know that. Their fries are amazing. And I had them. And I'll do it again. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Coming up next, Taryn Gregson's going to join us. She was let go last week by the PGA. She was a reporter for the PGA. That's the Professional Golf Association. And she is not vaxxed. She is pregnant. She was trying to get a religious exemption, and they let her go. We shall discuss what's happening with her and where this might go. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You guys know I love golf. In fact, in between segments, I go out and have putting green. here in my studio, and I go out and practice putting. And I'm a huge fan of golf. Watch it all the time. In fact, got TV on behind me, got golf on. This lady I've seen a bunch, but not anymore as far as the PGA is concerned. Joining us now is a woman, Taryn Gregson, who is pregnant. She was a reporter for the PGA, and now she is no longer doing that because she refused to get a vaccine, and on with a company that in an organization that doesn't have a mandate. Taryn, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Chad. Thank you so much for coming on. And, you know, these companies can use any kind of verbiage they want here when they can say they don't have a mandate, but when they punish you for not getting a shot, when they say you have to get a shot or else, you know, that is forcing people to do something. That is a mandate. So, you know, they can use that word, that verbiage, but that's what's happening.
So what happened? So for the last year and a half, you guys, everything shut down, and then you were working out of the house, and nobody knew really what was going to happen, and there wasn't a mandate. So what took place where you found out, I'm going to be out of here?
Yeah. So I've been working for the tour for 5.5 years. You know, like you said, past 19 months, been working out of the house once COVID hit, and then you know, all of these mandates started to be talked about, started to come down from various companies. The tour had us go through, if we so choose, a religious exemption process for the vaccine. I did that, and then they were saying, okay, well, if you don't get the shot, then you have to do these policies, and you have to mask, and you have to test. Even if you have natural immunity, which I do, I had COVID this summer. They're saying you have to do these things if you don't get the shot. And you know, I was trying to communicate with them that those policies, that they want to call them policies, do not align with my religious beliefs. I would like to invoke my Title VII right to a religious exemption from masking and testing and these discriminatory policies. And they said, no, these are our policies regardless of your religious beliefs. So disregarding my Title VII right. And they said I could not work from home, even though I'm pregnant, even though I have been doing it for 19 months. And so they fired me.
So here you are, you're fired. They didn't, you know, I know what people are saying out there. Okay, you're a wackadoo, right-wing religious person who probably is some sort of plague enthusiast that doesn't want any kind of vaccines whatsoever. And I'm like, you know what? Let's find out, because I don't think that's the truth. I've listened to you. I've seen you. I don't think you're any of those things, but I think you're just concerned about this singular vaccine.
That is absolutely correct. You know, we're allowed to make decisions based on each individual scenario, correct? You know, it's not a one size fits all. It's not an overarching scenario. And, you know, I just believe that people should have a right to make a decision on anything really. But obviously this is something we don't know a lot about, that hasn't been around for a while. I am pregnant. So that makes it even more concerning to me. I'm not even allowed to, you know, not allowed, but they suggest you don't even take cold medication. But yet, you know, they're telling me that I need to get this shot that we don't know a lot about. I have natural immunity. I trust in the immune system that God created for me. And I just really think that we should be protecting our rights. They are, you know, coming after what we're allowed to do with our bodies. That's a God-given right. Our bodies are a temple of the Holy Spirit. And I think that we need to stand up for our civil rights, which also includes protecting our religious beliefs and the worldview that comes with the religious beliefs that we have.
Talking to Taryn Gregson, she was with the PGA, and then she was let go because she did not get a vaccine. Now, when you were going to get a religious exemption, and in theory they're supposed to allow a religious exemption, what was their case on saying, nah, we're not even going to do that?
They kept saying, these are our policies regardless of your religious beliefs.
That was it. There was no other, like, even though, I mean, you know, if it's because I've seen it in some places, especially with the pilots and a few other things where some people have gotten religious exemptions. And, you know, originally they were like, well, you're going to be at home and you're not going to be getting paid. Then the unions and everybody else stepped in and said, well, you can't do that. Yours was just like, we're not doing anything, Terrence. Or it's either this or nothing, even though we don't technically have mandates.
Correct. Yes. So when you invoke which is what you're getting at there, when you invoke your right for a religious exemption, you're supposed to work with your employer. You and your employer are supposed to work together on accommodations. Those accommodations cannot be punishments, you know, for your religious beliefs. It should be, you know, something that you work together to come together on. You know, this applies to all different sorts of religious views, whether it's you can't, you know, work on the Sabbath or need to wear something specific or cannot wear something specific based on your religion, what have you. You know, your company is supposed to help work with you on this. So, you know, they kept saying that I couldn't work from home full time. Maybe they'd let me work from home twice a week, but that still means that I have to wear a mask and I still have to test. So it's not exempting me from their policies that they say I have to follow regardless of my religious beliefs, which is the whole point of an exemption. And I want to point out, too, you know, a lot of these companies ahead of this week were saying that they were doing these policies based on what OSHA was putting out there that, you know, now has been suspended and blocked. But they kept citing OSHA. Well, OSHA said explicitly in its, you know, in the act, in the OSHA Act, that these employers needed to be mindful of the fact that, you know, they did have to honor Title VII exemptions from vaccine, masks, and testing. OSHA even was trying to warn them of that because it is a federal law.
Yeah. Now, so where does it stand now? I mean, you've got some representation. Are there other people that are working for the PGA that fall in your category that haven't been fired? And do you think this was maybe because you were pregnant? Was there other things that you're thinking this may be about? Because I want to think the best of the PGA because I love golf, Taryn, and I know you love golf. But I mean, are there other people that are in your situation, if you will, where they're not vaccinated and they're still there?
There are a few people there. They have been firing people over this. I'm not the only one that has been fired. There are people that have been taking the test and wearing the mask, and still trying to voice to the tour that this does not align with their beliefs. They are being punished for, you know, their choice not to get the vaccine, and the tour is also, you know, not hearing their calls for trying to work with them on this. A lot of people are also concerned about the privacy issues I know of that are working at the tour currently that are being forced to upload these tests and waive their HIPAA rights, and the health department's tracking, you know, their weekly COVID tests, and they're asking the tour if there's a way to do that more privately. And so far they're saying no. I know somebody that got fired because they told them no. So unfortunately, I'm not the only one at the tour in particular. And then, you know, I've just been overwhelmed with the amount of messages of people elsewhere that are having these issues with their employers too. People just want their basic civil and human rights to be honored on this issue. And I think that we all have to stand up for this because it is such a slippery slope to be on. If this is what they're trying to do to us now, what's next? We need to stand up for our rights. And and I know too, you know, to go back on your question, that I've had an overwhelming amount of players and caddies reach out to me as well, saying that they feel like they've been silenced on this topic.
Oh, it's the battle that's going on, and you've said it. You're not an anti-vaxxer. At what point, if you weren't pregnant, would you have thought about taking this?
No, it was something that was, you know, my husband and my family, we were praying on from the get-go, we have family that have gotten the vaccine. You know, I feel like people should have that choice, right? People should be able to make that choice for themselves. And for us, just not knowing the long terms of this, we trusted that, you know, God was telling us and pointing us in the right direction on not to do this, on to hold off and wait and find out more information. You know, our family, our God-given roles as a husband and wife to create a family and in God's divine kingdom is huge for us. And so we didn't want to jeopardize that. We don't know the long-term effects on any of this, including fertility and how that would work and, you know, building our family. So we trusted God with our bodies in this and in our immune systems in this. And we ended up getting COVID and we were just fine a couple of days later. Praise the Lord for that. And so we trust the immune system that he's given us in this time.
What's your next step in all of this?
You know, for me, it is just about helping other people going through this in any way that I can, whether that's, you know, helping to share their struggles and their stories that they're going through, helping to educate people on their rights, whether that's Title VII, which I've become very familiar with over the past couple months or beyond. You know, I want to be an advocate for people in this issue and help people because there are just way too many people that are struggling and way too many people that are putting their livelihoods on the line to try to preserve their basic civil rights, not only for themselves, but for their children and their communities that are struggling through this. So I just want to help people in any way that I can, which is why WeThePatriotsUSA.org has reached out to me and wants to help me with my case. They want to take my case to court to help set a precedent for others so that our case and ruling could help other people that are struggling with this and help preserve their rights. So they are a Christian nonprofit group of attorneys run strictly on donations. We need all the help that we can get to be able to take this to court and help other people. And so I encourage you to go to WeThePatriots.org and hit that donate button. That'll help my case. It'll help the different Supreme Court cases that they have. They're even representing Bill Sellier, the Marine that was denied ivermectin at Walmart pharmacy. They're trying to help people from all different angles of this issue right now. So we encourage you to go there and to help out. And I also just encourage people to hold the line on this, to stand strong in your faith and your beliefs. Trust that God will provide if you stay true to him and the truth in this. And, you know, I myself, like you said, I'm pregnant. We're losing our health care now. My husband just got laid off, and so he's trying to figure out a new stream of income. And so, you know, I don't say that to take pity on us. I'm just saying that it's not going to be easy to stand up for your rights and your beliefs, but it is the right thing to do. And you can do it. You're not alone in this. And God will provide if you lean on him.
Last question. Who's the best, nicest golfer that you've worked with, and who's the biggest jerk? Is it Patrick Reed? Everybody thinks Patrick Reed's awful.
Hey, actually, I like Patrick a lot. He has always been so kind to me. He always is up for a good chat. He is actually a really great guy in person. I think he gets a bad rap in the media. So, you know, it's funny how the media paints different pictures. And obviously, you know, people when they're in competition as an athlete and a competitor can be slightly a different persona, if you will, than their normal everyday selves when they're in public and in private. But yeah, I think he's always been a very kind person to me. So I can't say anything of the contrary to him on a personal level in the interactions that I've had with him. So many of the guys are so great. And, you know, who's a great guy? Like I said, they're all great guys for so many different reasons. Rory McIlroy's always been a one of my favorites to talk to because he's just so insightful, and he always has very well thought out answers and is a very, very good conversation guy. He's a very good guy to have a good chat with. Well, appreciate you coming on today. Tara Gregson will post the stuff where people can go look and see how they can help out in helping you guys and the cases that are out there as well, not just on your case, but several other cases. Thanks so much today, and good luck. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate it. God bless. God bless you. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
That was interesting. I enjoyed having her on. I think it was the battle that's going on right now, especially with the mandates, not to mandate, what to do. Let's give people choice. But then when you say, okay, well, you know what? Instead of taking this, I'd like to give it a little while longer. And then you listen to her. She's, you know what? You say, oh, she's a crazy right-wing religious person. She's got her faith. That's a wonderful thing. But, you know, look, if you've got the vaccine and I have got the shot, and somebody got mad at me yesterday because I said, it's a shot. It's not a vaccine the way that we would think of vaccines. Nobody worries about going into a room going, I hope I don't catch polio. You don't. You don't worry about that. But you've got the vaccine, but I could still catch polio. It doesn't happen. Even if you brought somebody in with polio, it's not happening. There is like 6 people left in the country with polio, and there's one person who's still on an iron lung. But having that belief and faith is a wonderful thing. And you know what? Very few people. She's got the cojones to stand up for what she believes, right? Her husband's lost his gig. She lost her gig. They got a kid on the way. They've got another kid. That right there says something. You know, to have that kind of belief that, you know what, this is what I think is best for me, based on whatever reason. Whether you don't believe in any kind of religion or God or you do, and they have that. And you just sit back and, you know, the battle is out there. And the battle should be, let's get through this thing together. Let's learn to live with this thing, through this thing, around this thing, and above this thing, which we don't do. Instead, we look at each other at times as the unwashed and the washed. And that's just so stupid. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet, text, love hearing from each and every one of you. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Gas prices are through the roof. COVID is moving in a direction that makes people uncomfortable. If I were to tell you those two things are happening, and Thanksgiving is next week, which all three of those things are true, which one would you think would slow people down from doing something? Well, Chad, COVID's going up. Right? It's places that are highly vaccinated are finding that they're having troubles when it comes to, keeping and slowing down the spread. That's the reason people aren't going to be traveling like they were, especially on the roads, which is one of the most busy times, if not the busiest day of the year. Gas prices. Gas prices, gas prices, gas prices. The cost of what is happening with fuel is causing people to rethink their programming situation when it comes to their usual Thanksgiving. Last year, it was disrupted. The program was normally pre-pandemic. We're all getting in the car, kids, and we're going where? We're going to grandma's house. We're going to so-and-so's house. Last year was like, well, you know what? We don't have a vaccine, and grandma, we don't know if we really want to go and do this because, but gas prices were low. We were pent up. We had some extra money in our pocket. We thought we'll try it. This year, no extra money in the pocket. There is a vaccine, but gas prices through the roof. So people are saying, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Then you've got other things as well. Traveling. 40% of the TSA apparently is not vaccinated, but they said, don't worry, we'll be ready. No offense. Ready for what? Just curious. You being there isn't a big issue. Got to be honest with you. You're a placebo effect at best. The reality is the chances of somebody hijacking a plane are slim to none at this point in time. Oh, that could happen. No, it can't. It's not going to happen again. It's not. People will never let that happen again. Even if you have a bomb on the plane, the bomb would go off before they'd let you take the plane and crash it somewhere. That isn't happening again. Now, I'm not saying there won't be crazy on the plane because, as we all know, stressful times of travel, stressful times of the holiday season, stressful times of being stressed out because of COVID and being locked up, if you will, and feeling like you're caged and you want to get out. And now you got to travel, but now you got to wear a damn mask and people are asking you for your vaccine passport and all that kind of crap. You put all of that together and then throw a little booze on it, you could see chaos. I think we all understand that. But as far as driving places, the thing that's going to hurt the travel this year isn't COVID, having vaccines, not having vaccines. It's going to be gas prices. And then when it comes to travel in the airs, well, my goodness, from storms to not enough pilots to not enough staff, this is shaping up to be a giant, colossal.
We have a November through early winter outlook, and it looks like all along the Southwest, including Southern California, where they so desperately would want water, does not look like you're going to get it. All the way through Texas and the Southeast. It looks like some help for drought in Montana, but from Great Lakes through the Northeast, we've been very wet. It looks like we're going to see even more rain going through the next couple of months.
So now you got weather. I've had a couple friends who are, they do pro football stuff, right? Sidelines. Hey, what's going on? Everybody, how do you? They normally travel this time of year, like, and okay, I'm going to go out and see mom and dad or grandma and grandpa, and they're going to see the kids. We'll leave Friday morning, and head back, or I'll fly to the city that we're going to be in, or fly home on Saturday, whatever it is, depending on what they're doing. They said, I can't take that. I can't take that risk now. Can't do it. I was even listening yesterday to a station I grew up listening to out in Southern California, KFI, and Shannon Farron, she is the sideline reporter for the Chargers. And she said, you know what, normally I would travel this time of year, but I can't risk trying to get someplace not knowing what travel's going to be like. And then the gas prices. And the gas prices are real. $3.29 I paid last Sunday. I told you guys that. Paid $3.60 Monday morning early as I get out and leave early. Today it's $3.65. Yesterday, driving here, I get off at a stop called Glendale, and they have a Chevron there. Now, I've always said that Chevron's a little bit more expensive anyways. Always has been. But even in Phoenix, compared to where I live in the Valley of the Dirt People, because where I get on the freeway, I have 4 giant truck stops, and there's always fueling going on there. So I've never really worried about that, because this is one thing you should always know. Truck stops have cheap gas because truckers in there always make sure that there's fuel. But it was $3.99. $3.99 here. This time last year, it was like $2.30. I didn't see $3.99, though. I saw vote Republican is essentially what that's saying. Vote Republican. People are stressed and frustrated, but the thing that's going to happen this year when it comes to traveling to grandma and grandpa's over the hills and through the woods. It isn't going to be because there's no COVID and you're worried about grandma or grandpa because they probably got their boost and they're going to be okay. It is because traveling to grandma and grandpa's this year is going to be super expensive. I'm heading down to San Diego. I leave Saturday morning. So my little one, 3, my stepdaughter, 11, myself, we're heading down. Super excited. What I'm not excited about is the fact that I'm going to pay more in gas than I probably will for the hotel and food. And the sticker shock I see here is going to blow my mind when I cross from Yuma into California. And by the way, there's not a lot between Yuma and the tail end of, as you come into San Diego, Viejas and whatnot. I have a feeling the prices I'm going to see are going to shock even me expecting $5.50 in some parts. I bet there'll be at least one place where if you're desperate and you need gas and you look and you go, sweet goodness gracious, it's $7.50, but I don't have a choice because I don't want to run out of gas. Biden's feeling the heat.
In recent weeks, the White House has been pushed on how it plans to address soaring fuel costs. Few specifics have been offered. Republicans have slammed the administration's green initiatives, claiming the White House is waging war on American energy. Still, the administration is taking some heat from environmentalists after opening more of the Gulf of Mexico to oil and gas drilling.
Of course he did. Of course he did. And he's asking other questions, too, about what's taking place in the marketplace. Hey, what's going on? See some, I see the gas, unleaded fuel and stuff. I see that's down a little bit, but I see oil prices are still going up. And we got some manipulation going on.
Biden writing in a letter to the FTC, quote, in the last month, the price of unfinished gasoline is down more than 5%, while gas prices at the pump are up 3% in the same time.
Right now, it's really difficult.
Biden noting that Exxon and Chevron were on track to nearly double their net income compared to 2019 and saying, quote, I do not accept hardworking Americans paying more for gas because of anti-competitive or otherwise potentially illegal conduct.
Yeah, gas prices. So oil's the one that drags everything, right? And then you refine it and you get the gas. Here's the thing with the energy prices. Part of the issue we have when you see even a drop on the open market when it comes to unfinished gasoline is we have to finish it. Some places in some states across the country, this is more about refinery than it is anything else. So it might be cheaper a little bit, but you still have to refine it. California is a perfect example for the parts of the West Coast. California has a special blend. They don't have regular blends. They have a special blend. And what happens? They take themselves offline at times for a week or two to refine it and get ready for the special blend. It's also getting the fuel from point A to point B. When the marketplace last year died, because why? We weren't going anywhere. And because of that, there was no call for fuel. And because there was no call for fuel, people that drive the fuel from point A to point B, they weren't doing that anymore. They weren't. So now that things are up and running again and there's pressure for it, a lot of those people moved on to other things and are making good money doing that, and switching right now isn't something they're interested in. So getting it to places is also an issue. And manipulation in the market's been going on forever and a day, especially markets like that. But it's not from the singular speculator, and it's way too hard to prove that they're trying to corner or do something to the marketplace. This isn't meme stocks. These are companies that make up to, go look at OPEC and what Saudi Arabia is doing, $1 billion a day. Hedging their bets, institutionalized amounts of money that they put to hedge their bets in the open market. Yeah, this isn't, some guy down the street is trying to manipulate the market. It's hilarious. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us. Tell you what, it's enough to make you want to eat. Arrgh! On average, you put on about 10 pounds during the holiday season, right? 10 pounds. Some people's like, I don't have the willpower. I need to go on a diet. Diets don't work. It's about changing things. And sometimes, even when you make certain changes, you know what you can't do? You can't fight with your biology. You can't. That's why I'm telling you guys right now, if you want to take yourself and your health serious, it's about Calibrate. Calibrate's incredible. It's a different way of doing things because it's about a comprehensive, doctor-guided metabolic reset. It promotes sustainable results through lifestyle changes. They make some changes that's not like, oh, it's feast or famine, starve. It's not crazy diets. It's let's make real little changes that will go a long way, but also FDA-approved medication paired with lifestyle changes helps you reset your metabolic insides, if you will, the entire system. It's a comprehensive, fully integrated program combining classes with one-on-one video coaching, in-app tracking, community of members like you, medical care, including a video doctor visit. The earliest members who started with Calibrate lost an average of 14% of their body weight, exceeding the 10% average of weight loss that they see in clinical trials. 20 years of research combined with the GLP-1 medication, coaching, and you watch what happens with your metabolic health. Long-term, sustainable weight loss. You're fighting a battle that has to do with nature, and what do we always say? Nature will mess you up. Well, it's time to change the game, and that's what Calibrate does. Your weight loss doesn't reflect your willpower. Take control. Get in control with Calibrate. Get $50 off the one-year metabolic reset when you use promo code CHAD at joincalibrate.com. It's $50 off when you use code CHAD at joincalibrate.com. You will not be disappointed. And a year from now, we'll be like, whoa, we don't recognize you. Joincalibrate.com. Promo code CHAD saves you $50. Chad Benson Show.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
So let's just say, for the sake of your argument, that you said, hey, we're going to travel this year. We're going to take the chance. We may fly somewhere. We may drive somewhere for the Gobbler week, right? Get to the festivities. Haven't seen Aunt Phyllis and Uncle Ron for a long time. Grandpa Tom's going to be there. Yeah, we're all going to get together. But we're all having it where? Oh, we're all having it at Aunt Karen's house. Uh-oh. Aunt Karen, though, is different, right? She's into the vax. She was the first one in line for the vax. She was the first one in line for a second, third, fourth, fifth, 8th, 12th, 58th shot, right? Oh, yeah, my kid's 18. Yeah, your kid looks like they're 6. Nah, it's going to be fine. I mean, she's vaxxed and ready to roll, and she's not going to break rules, and she's going to listen to what anybody has to say that has to do with the affirmation of what's going on in her world and what she believes. And when it comes to Turkey Day, none of that's going to change.
Are you going to invite your unvaccinated relatives to sit at the dinner table with you this Thanksgiving? Experts are saying you might not want to risk it. Here's why. According to one expert from McMaster University, vaccines are super effective, but they're most effective when you're surrounded by other vaccinated people. If you invite someone who isn't vaccinated, there's a risk of having a breakthrough case. Now, breakthrough cases are pretty rare.
You know what else is awesome? Just like nobody getting in the same room together and being doubly vaccinated and wearing a mask, and the chances of you getting sick are virtually zero.
You should try talking to your relatives about how safe vaccination is.
Okay.
The best way to do that is to start the conversation from a place of respect and empathy. Say things like, I understand you're feeling pressure. I know you're freaked out, but here's why this is important. But kids can't get vaccinated yet. So part of keeping those kids as safe as possible is telling that one uncle who chooses not to get vaccinated that he might have to sit this one out. That's actually the more ethical thing to do.
It's funny. The uncle's always on the right and the aunt is always on the left, right? Like Uncle Steve is always the one, right? He's a Trump supporter. He's MAGA. He's always on the right. His sister is always on the left. Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen's always on the left. So that's what you're supposed to do. Here's what you do. Whatever's best for you. We're going to have some people over, family visiting, in and out. It's going to be one of those things where you see some people, midday, and by afternoon they're gone, but some other people might stop by kind of thing throughout the day, and father-in-law's in the hospital, all that stuff's going on. The reality is I don't care. I've had the shot. I've also had it, COVID. So I'm not going to live my life in fear. And if you have the vaccine and you're worried about somebody showing up that isn't vaccinated, and you don't think that should happen, to me, you don't believe in the vaccine. You don't feel strongly enough about it. Well, what about a breakthrough case? Nothing's going to happen to you. Settle down. Unless you have tons of comorbidities. And at that point, regardless of COVID and who's vaccinated or not, you probably shouldn't be seeing people if you're that worried about it. Oh, my God. The best thing to do is have fun and not talk about it. Plus, if Rich Uncle isn't vaccinated, but he wants to leave everything to you and the kids, and he gets some great Christmas presents as well as you, probably should say he's the one that gets to come over without the vax. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
It's weird, like all the Rittenhouse stuff that's going on. There's, and I'm not just talking about the case, right? I'm talking about where this case is from a standpoint of Ahmaud Arbery was a black man who was, for all intents and purposes, felt like he was being hunted. Right? I mean, what are you going to say? It felt like it. 3 white men following him, one behind another truck, and they shoot and kill him. Now, on the stand of Ahmaud Arbery, you've got now the people that are, they're defending themselves, as you would, right? You're defending yourself. And you got McMichael and his father. Michael, the younger one, who was the one who was the shooter, said he was fighting for his life. He testified, which you rarely see in today's world, right? Said, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. He was on the stand.
In a surprise move, 35-year-old Travis McMichael is taking the witness stand, giving jurors his take on a disturbing cell phone video of the killing from February of last year.
It was obvious that he was he was attacking me, that if he would have got the shotgun from me, then this is a life or death situation.
At times, he had tears in his eyes. McMichael, his father, Gregory McMichael, and one of their neighbors, William Roddy Bryant, are all accused of murder and other charges. They pled not guilty.
Yeah. But it is weird, right? Like, you're following this guy, 2 of you in one truck, one in another one. They've got a cell phone, and they're videoing it. 3 white men, 1 black man, unarmed, shot. The DA knew Pops and them, dismissed it, wasn't going to go on with it, thought it was justified, self-defense, whatever it is, wasn't looking at it, he was retiring and moving on, giving you guys a solid. All of that stuff being said, where is all of the notoriety and publicity? It's at the Rittenhouse case. That's it. That's where it's at. And I'm not talking about the case itself, guilt, innocence, all that stuff. I'm talking about from the media standpoint. There they are. Right? The Sharptons of the world and the people that we would see normally in cases that are trying to bring attention to it. They're at a case where a white guy killed 2 other white people and wounded another white guy. And they're at that case. Well, because of Black Lives Matter, because there was a shooting of a man in Kenosha who was black, and they were there. And no, one of these cases you would think would bring more attention when it comes to the race side of things. But the reality is it is the Rittenhouse case that has all of the attention. And it shows you, I mean, again, he shot and does not deny shooting these people. One of the guys that he shot, there's a video of him plainly kicking Rittenhouse in the face. And that guy, by the way, has a bit of a pass with domestic violence charges, throwing his girl from the ground, attacking her, et cetera, et cetera. The other guy who was shot and killed has stuff that makes you just cringe. He was a child molester, not alleged. Raped several boys from ages 9 to 11. And the other guy who survived also has charges of things in the past. He had a gun and pointed it at him. And all three were white. The weird thing is I've talked to people who believe that Rittenhouse shot black people. And the look on their face is like, what? No, that can't be right. That can't be right. People that I think you at least understand. But it is bizarre the way that this thing is breaking itself down. Ahmaud Arbery is black, was followed by 3 white men in 2 trucks when he was out for a run. Here is a white guy, 17. Say what you want, whether or not he should be there. None of that stuff I care about, but what I'm saying is, and the crimes that are alleged against him were against white people. But people gravitate to the story that's going to be bigger. Right? And that shows you much of what we talked about yesterday. When you heard, a whistleblower for one of the larger news organizations talk about the fact that it's more important to give up the objectivity when it comes to journalism than anything else. It's about agenda. Objectivity's out the window.
So what is that agenda? It apparently involves telling journalists that being factual and objective is racist.
So this is Poynter Institute, has brought in Donna Lowry, training the newsroom about oppressor versus oppressed.
Influence is synonymous with power, how much influence you can have.
I challenge you to stop thinking in terms of objective journalism, and we'll discuss why that's not really feasible anymore.
That was the one that blew my mind. That you're now teaching journalists at a national level, don't be objective.
No, I'm part of that. Again, we go back to it over and over again. One of these is, and you could say what you want about Kyle Rittenhouse. He's a white supremacist. I mean, they're going to paint him however they want. That's what the media does. Again, it's not about being right anymore. It's about being first, painting a narrative, having an agenda, but most importantly, getting clicks, views, all that stuff. That's what it's about. And it's frustrating. It is. Because no matter what happens, guilt, innocence, retrial, mistrial, this trial, hung jury, all these kind of things, for any of these cases, people's minds are already made up. We no longer care about the facts. You can look, like, one of the big examples is January 6th. Yesterday, the shaman, Jake Chansley, he got sentenced to 41 months in prison, right? He's a clown. I think he's got issues, right? You guys remember Jacob Chansley, right? He went in there, he was screaming and yelling, and he was the Q shaman, and the guy had issues. He had issues.
The judge said Jacob Chansley made himself the image of the riot January 6th by wearing a fur vest, horned helmet, and carrying a spear through the U.S. Capitol. He sentenced him to more than 3 years in prison. Chansley left what prosecutors called a chilling note for then Vice President Pence that said it's only a matter of time. Justice is coming. In a lengthy statement, Chansley conceded he was wrong for entering the Capitol and cast himself as repentant, a believer in freedom, and a man of honor. He said he is not violent, an insurrectionist, or a domestic terrorist. I may be guilty of this crime, Chansley said, but I am in no way, shape, or form a dangerous criminal. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
And remember some of the stuff he talked about on 60 Minutes.
I actually stopped somebody from stealing muffins out of the break room.
But January 6th, you see it, all over. People say, oh, my God. How many police officers died? Was it 3, 4, or 5? Well, there was the one that got beat to death with a fire extinguisher. Mm-hmm. Really? Really? No, that's not true. That's not true at all. In fact, New York Times put it out that, that happened. This guy was beat to death by a fire extinguisher and an angry mob. That lives out there now as if that's the truth. The reality is he wasn't. He had a stroke and died. Now, can you make the argument that the stroke was caused by all the chaos and craziness? Maybe you can make that argument. I think it would be tough to prove in court, but they ruled it was natural causes. But it was too late for that. That was already out there. And it wasn't out there by some fringe publication. The New York Times had put that out there. And days later, the Washington Post reported it really wasn't true. It's about being first. It's not about being right. So when I look at the case of what's going on, whether it's Kenosha, Atlanta, Minneapolis, whatever it is, so much of it is about painting narratives and having an agenda-driven media that suits an audience that apparently they're trying to craft. They're not trying to have, we're not battling for an audience where you've got 20 million viewers, 50 million viewers, 100, 350 million viewers potential. We're battling for a small, narrow group of people that want to be like-minded like us, and we're going to continue to serve them the best way we can. And if that means that we have to hype up something that's not real, well, then we'll do that. Even if it means it's wrong. Because at the end of the day, who's checking us, right? And once it's said, it'll live out there long enough. It'll live out there long enough. That's it. It'll live out there long enough, and people will never go back to check and see if that's true or not. And then when you tell them it's not, and you tell them, well, this is what it really was, people still buy it. Well, 2 officers died of suicide that were there that day. Can you blame all of that on this? Sorry. I mean, 2 officers died of suicide. That's a horrible thing. Was it strictly because of January 6th? How can you say that? Because you sit back and go, well, that happened because this. So what would happen if there was how many officers in Minneapolis when the rioting was going killed themselves afterward, or Ferguson, or any of these things? There's a lot of things that go into this, but it doesn't matter if you're crafting a narrative, and they're going to pick and choose. The one that is about race in the trial that's going on is Ahmaud Arbery, but nobody's paying that kind of attention because the other one is the villain they want. And for some, he's the hero. And he's neither. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Raycon, best earbuds around just in time for the holiday seasons. So if you're saying to yourself, what could I get my family? Well, we're active. Give them some earbuds. You start looking at prices like, my goodness me. I'm just going to have to get one set of earbuds and we'll all share it. Or you can get several at the most affordable price, and they're better than you can imagine. Everyday earbuds from Raycons. Ray J's put together an amazing, incredible product. These earbuds fit like you'll never believe because you get 6 different soft gel tips, so the fit is perfect. 8 hours of playtime, 32 hours of battery life. You get a charging case that every time you charge it up will give you 4 full charges. So that means you don't have to be tethered somewhere with your earbuds. We're just getting started. 3 new modes so you can control the bass and give you the sound quality you want. 45-day happiness guarantee. Colors, fit, no stems, no wires, seamless Bluetooth pairing. They're called Raycons, the everyday Raycons. And right now, limited time, hurry, not going to last forever, up to 20% off your order. BuyRaycon.com/Chad saves you up to 20% of your order, and you will love these. I'm telling you guys right now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
Well, that is me. Oh, football tonight. Patriots taking on the hot Atlanta Falcons. I'm not quite sure what Falcons show up, but I do know what the Patriots are going to do. They're going to run the ball a little bit. They're going to do a little dinking and dunking because they got Mac Jones, who was their first-round pick as a quarterback. They've surrounded him with a decent squad, including safety blankets when it comes to they spent some money on Hunter Henry and got a really good tight end core, and that's always good because every quarterback needs that 1 or 2 safety blankets they can dump it off to. Their defense is Super Bowl worthy. The Atlanta Falcons, you don't know what you're going to get. You have no idea. Could be great, could be bad. They're 4-5, 1-6-4. And mark this down. The Patriots, at the rate they're going, I think they're going to make noise in the playoffs. Mac Jones was always an NFL-ready quarterback. The difference is he Ryan Tannehill? Right? Going to throw 25, 30 touchdowns a season, not going to make too many mistakes, Alex Smith type of player, or is he going to be Patrick Mahomes? Probably not Patrick Mahomes. Probably not Lamar Jackson. But he's smart, plays within himself. He graduated in Alabama in 2.5 years. I think he got a master's degree as well. He was always NFL ready. They win tonight. Mark that down. I'll give you the rest of my picks mañana. That is tomorrow. We were just talking off the air because, now they're coming for Bill Maher. We'll talk a little bit more about this tomorrow. But, because Bill Maher he's been very outspoken about this, the insanity of what's going on, not on the Democratic side of things, but on the progressive Democratic side of things, right? That's where he's been completely outspoken.
Woke. The response from the people that you put it on will say, woke is aware and inclusive, and there is no cancel culture. It's just accountability. These are not bad things. They are good things. Disagree.
Woke, yes. I mean, I don't remember the day the term was born, although I hear AOC says only old people use it now. Well, you gave it to us like 5 years ago. So sorry we didn't get the memo. That's such a high school thing. We're not using that anymore. Okay, whatever term you want. I don't care. Again, I just got used to this one.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It really is, because now you can sense they're coming for him. And people say, Chad, there is no such thing as cancel culture. Look at like Mel Gibson's going to, go and direct another movie. He should have been canceled. Or, Morgan Wallen is going to go on tour and stuff. They're not the average person who will find it tough getting a job when they've been stained in the public world of social media, comparatively to somebody who has, you're not canceling Clint Eastwood because he's Clint Eastwood. Mel Gibson was always going to be tough because people are always willing to work with somebody who's got talent like that. That's the frustration that I think people feel. And I think he's right. and they're going to come after him, and he is going to laugh right at them. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Check out the podcast as well. Tara Gregson joins us today. Great interview. She was fired by the PGA last week, and she's a little upset because she didn't get her vaccine, even though they didn't have a mandate. You guys have a blessed day. We'll do it again tomorrow. Night, Jack. Oh, it's Friday.
This is the Chad Benson Show.